Hey, what's going on? Welcome. If you are new here, please subscribe, click the bell, ding the dong, bing the bong, all that great stuff. Share everywhere, including your YouTube community tab. Please and thank you. And also, if you want to donate, you could donate through Super Thanks. That is located where the subscribe button is. And also, you could donate with Cash App. That is $Spade Parkland. And also, you could join the channel membership by clicking the join button near the subscribe button. I do weekly live streams for channel members. So join that if you want to be a part of the channel member live stream. Jim hands Tabitha the marker, but she is reluctant to voice her question because she is not sure she wants to know the answer. So originally, Tabitha was like being in the Matrix and she was taking the blue pill. She didn't want to know the answer. She didn't want to ask any questions. She didn't want to know the answers. At the beginning of Silhouette, season 1, episode 5, she wanted the blue pill. She thought it was stupid to ask questions. She wanted to know parts of it. Okay, remember that. Jim is the one that pushed Tabitha into the theory business. And then they had this little sidebar later on of them kind of like gossiping about stuff. Jim was talking to Tabitha. Did you know that Marielle, who's engaged to Christy, was on that bus? And Tabitha was like, what? Are you sure? That's crazy. So at first they was doing the whole exchanging information. That's when Jim was like, you know what? I don't want to be in the theory business anymore. But he had already got Tabitha on that path. It is what it is. So you can't open Pandora's box, Jim, and then close it back up. You can't do it. Once it's open, it's opened. Don't be opening boxes and then trying to close it again. So at the clinic, Sarah leaves, thanking Christy, adding that she enjoyed their girls' night, which Christy says she'd love to repeat. Spoiler alert, they do not repeat the girls' night because Sarah was trying to take out teddy bears.
Unfrickin' believable.
I know. We all enjoyed Sarah, but Sarah turned out to be crazy. And so Christy says she would love to repeat it, medical emergency or not. Nathan arrives and the two walk away together. Nathan says they need to talk and Sarah apologizes for worrying him. He says he just needs to know what happened, having the seizure, kill the boy on her arm. Sarah's leaving stuff out, all right? And so she explains that she was standing 1 minute and on the floor the next. No, you lying. You lying. You left out the veins. That's the most important part. Left out on purpose, but does not remember anything else. And Nathan asks her why she's acting like everything is okay. And she responds that she needs to get to the diner before Mrs. Liu starts to worry. Sarah promises that everything will be okay and tells Nathan that she loves him. Sarah, why are you lying?
What the heck?
So for some of y'all that are like, well, you know, Sarah's a good person. Sarah's not a good person. She's keeping secrets from Nathan. She's got the scalpel getting ready to sacrifice a teddy bear, lying to Christy, scheming and a scamming, doing all that stuff. She's thoughting and plotting.
But that's okay.
Okay, plotting, all right? All right, so at Colony House, Fatima finds Julie making a list of everyone who will be wondering where she and her family are, thinking about how it's worse for them not knowing. Fatima admits she did the same thing when she arrived and asks who's on the list. Julie lists her grandparents and friends, and Fatima teases her and asks if she has a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Julie says she doesn't have anything like that, but grimly remarks that it's probably a good thing because it means one less person losing their mind over where she is. Fatima decides that Julie needs some fun and tells her to meet her downstairs in 5 minutes. I kind of like this shot right here because it shows that the hands are going at Julie. So Fatima then tells Ellis that Julie's making a list and they should show her the Brundles to get her to stop thinking about her former life and help her to accept and adapt. Okay, interesting. Yeah, because if you're stuck in Fromville, the worst thing or the last thing that you need is to be worrying about life on the outside. I mean, imagine you're stuck in Fromville and you're worried like, man, I wonder what happened in the movie that just came out that I wanted to go see. Or man, Imagine you're stuck in Fromville and you're like, dang, From season 4 just came out. I'm gonna miss the whole season. Stuff like that would make you upset. I'd be upset. I'd be like, hey, Jim, instead of working on a radio, let's get the TV to work. That's what I would do. I'd be on some nonsense. So in town, Jade wanders, muttering to himself about special relativity and Einstein while carrying a radio. Jade overheard this radio turn on while talking to Kenny, and they were looking at the map. The radio turned on. Jade's carrying it around because it helps him think and mumble, but even though the radio turned on its own, and there's no way it could have possibly have done that without a power source, instead of Jade, with his big brain, going around telling everybody that he made this $1 million company, he's in tech, he should be celebrating with Toby, all this brain power, all this money, captain of industry, people like him, make places like Fromville to trap other people. He goes on and on and on about that. Yet he's walking around with the radio and doesn't get the thought to make the radio work until Tom, who he in a roundabout way called less than, gave him the idea to turn the radio on to communicate with people. Yeah, Jay's walking around with this. He's doing everything but working on the radio. I'm telling you, Tabitha and Jade were useless without Jim and Tom. And that's probably how Christopher and Miranda were, and former versions of themselves as far as who they came from, because they probably were all useless. Miranda probably sitting around taking DRUGS's. Christopher playing with dolls, doing everything except for being productive. And because there wasn't a Jim and Tom around, that's the reason why they took an L. Took an L because they didn't have a Jim or a Tom. All right, as special as they are, they're the chosen ones. They weren't that chosen, or obviously maybe they chose the wrong people. Talking to you, boy in white, maybe you should have chose someone else. The children would have been saved by now. But anyway, I digress. Okay, I digressed. We can roast them later. Jade is mumbling to himself about special relativity and Einstein while carrying the radio. So fun fact, special relativity describes how the universe works for objects that are not accelerating, called inertial reference frames. However, it doesn't incorporate gravity. That's part of the theory of general relativity. Before Einstein, the traditional view was that gravity was an invisible force pulling things together. So when the apple fell from the tree and hit Einstein on the head, that's when he was like, oh, you know what? Gravity pulls things down, not keeps them together. So yay, Einstein. And that's who Jade is mumbling about while holding the radio, doing everything except for figuring out the radio. And also, fun fact, we'll go over it in the future, but the person who gave the idea to power on the radio was Tien Chen Lu. So Tien Chen Lu is the one who gave Jade the book with the symbols, something else to walk around with besides the radio. But Tien Chen Lu gave Jade the idea to power on the radio. Jim is the one who made the radio work, and Tom gave Jade the idea to power on the radio. So everybody was helping out except for Jade. I'm just saying. Okay? I'm just saying. Trudy asks him, what is he doing? Jade explains that the radio helps him think, but he's not trying to use the radio until Tom gives him the idea. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. So Trudy says that he's even cuter when he's awake, explaining that she had watched him while he slept. Very creepy, Trudy. Very creepy. So Trudy declares it's too bad he chose town. Otherwise, she would have rode him like an alabaster dragon. She then walks away. Had Toby had survived Sarah, Sarah doing the whole angel of mercy thing, taking out Toby. He and Jade probably would have been in Colony House, and Trudy would have been riding both of them like an alabaster dragon. But in all seriousness, the alabaster dragon comment is a reference to Magic the Gathering on Netflix. John Griffin, who is the creator from, he has writing credits on it, according to IMDb. That's an Easter egg for that. And so after Trudy does her whole creep thing, Jade is looking like, what is going on? Who is this woman? He looks back, like, okay, she's weird. He goes inside the bar. So Kenny updates Boyd, who is studying the map, that Sarah's okay and brings him some food. Boyd asks him to hold down the fort while he stops by his wife's grave. Jade was holding the radio for inspiration. Tom gives Jade the idea to turn the radio on. Jim is the one who sets the radio up on Colony House. Tien Chen gives Jade the idea of how to power the radio on using the appliances, not the outlet. So everything that Jade has done to attempt to benefit the town came from other people, while he's carrying this radio around for inspiration. So Tom tells Jade he turned the gas station into a bar. Tom says adjusting to Fromville gets easier. Fun fact, when I was in officer school in the Army, field artillery, basic officer leadership course, it was rocket science and it was hard. That's probably one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my life, is graduate from field artillery, basic officer leadership course. And people would say the same thing. Not that it gets easier, but it gets better. It didn't get better, y'all. It got harder. It was crazy from start to finish. It was crazy.
That's how we get you all the time.
Yes, that's how they get you. They say, oh, yeah, it'll be easy. Go ahead and come sign up for it. It'll be so easy. And it's not easy. Matter of fact, that was years ago. I still think about how horrible that place was.
Would you ever think that this innocent little face could do anything to hurt you? No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't. Because that's how we get you.
That's how the military gets you. Rocket science is no joke. Jade remarks this is a paradox. A statement or proposition that, despite sound, or apparently sound, reasoning from acceptable premises, it leads to a conclusion that seems senseless, logically unacceptable, or self-contradictory. Jade asks, how do we get home and how do we get out of here? Then starts throwing darts and throwing a tantrum that you can't get out when you don't know where you are. Jade says people like him design the maze and place the cheese. Is that right?
Pays to win, still loses.
Right. All that money you made don't mean a thing in Fromville. And so Jade is wondering, how can people just sit around and act like this is normal? Because they've adapted, sir. They've adapted. They've adapted. They've already asked all the questions, the same ones you've asked, in the same way that you came up with an L, they came with an L. Tom says to Jade that he didn't create no big company. He's just a regular dude like everybody else. But Tom went to school and he was a philosophy teacher. Don't be fooled that I'm in here in this bar creating alcohol for everyone. You think that creating alcohol is a useless skill, even though you're drinking up all my booze, even after I pass away. Tom says, look, I don't have the big brain you have. I didn't go to some fancy school. I don't have $1 million company or whatever and all that snazz. Well, guess what? Tom, for the win, Tom says, if you get the radio to work, people will know the people in Fromville are alive. Tom is for the win. Because Jade was not thinking about turning the radio on. He was walking around with it like it was a stuffed animal. A little kid who's lost with the animal, walking around, dragging the animal on the ground. Jade is walking around with the radio for inspiration to think. thinking that he's better than everyone. And it never dawned on him to use that radio to talk to people, to communicate and ask for help. It was Tom for the win. And you know what, Tom? For that, you are an Apollo legend.
And that's you.
Yep. Tom is for the win. So with Tom giving Jade the idea, Jade is like, oh, you know what? That's a good idea. Yeah, it's a good idea because I came up with it. Jade, Tom is useful. Tom is useful for the win. Yeah, get the radio to work, sir. He's still going to drink the booze. So what do you think? Let me know in the comment section your thoughts. Thumbs up the video, share your social media, subscribe, click notification bell. Thanks for watching. Go forth, do great things, and I'm out. Peace.